A millionaire pretended to be homeless to test his employees, and what he discovered left him stunned. Richard Albuquerque was the king of the grocery business in South Florida. A self-made millionaire, owner of one of the most respected supermarket chains in the region, he was feared by competitors and admired by investors. Sales were climbing, profits were strong, and on paper, everything looked perfect. But that week, something kept bothering him. Customer complaints would not stop. Bad service, rude staff, people saying they were treated like trash the moment they looked poor. Richard was old school. He did not trust spreadsheets alone. He wanted to see the truth with his own eyes. So he made a decision that would change everything. The next morning, instead of a tailored suit and polished shoes, Richard put on an old stained t-shirt, worn-out pants, and a battered pair of flip-flops. He let his beard grow messy and looked at himself in the mirror until even he barely recognized the man staring back. That day, the owner of the empire was going into one of his busiest stores disguised as a homeless man. He picked the most crowded location downtown. The moment he walked in, the looks started. People stared. Employees looked away. Customers curled their lips. He walked up to the front counter and spoke politely. "Good morning, ma'am. Do you know if there are any job openings here?" The young cashier, chewing gum and barely glancing at him, shrugged. "It's all online, old man." Richard tried to explain that he had no internet access. She rolled her eyes. "Then I guess there's nothing I can do for you. Next." The hit landed hard, not because of anger, because of disappointment. He kept walking and headed toward the stock area. A stock supervisor noticed him, looked him up and down with disgust, and snapped, "Hey, buddy, this isn't a shelter. Keep moving." A few workers nearby laughed. Richard swallowed the humiliation and asked if he could speak to the store manager. The supervisor laughed again. "You think the manager's going to waste time on you?" Waste time on you. That sentence stayed with him. Was this really how his company treated people with nothing? Was this what had grown inside the business he had spent his whole life building? Hungry and now shaken, Richard made his way to the in-store deli and asked for a simple bread roll. He said he would pay later if he could just get something to eat. The woman behind the counter was about to throw him out. "This isn't a charity kitchen," she barked. But then a rough, tired voice cut through the tension. "Put it on my tab." It was Anna. She was one of the cleaning staff. Worn sneakers, tired eyes, the face of someone who had been waking up before dawn for years just to survive. She had no idea who that scruffy older man really was. But unlike everyone else, she saw something simple. A hungry person. She handed the warm bread to Richard and said softly, "Nobody deserves to go hungry. God bless you, sir." That moment hit him harder than any business report ever had. But he wanted to know more. Later that day, around lunch, Richard quietly followed Anna from a distance. He saw her sit in the parking lot with a small aluminum lunch container. She opened it, split the food in half, and tucked part of it into a plastic bag. Then she hurried behind the building, near an old loading area. Hidden behind a delivery truck, Richard watched the scene that broke him. Sitting on the ground was a frail, elderly man in ragged clothes. Anna knelt beside him. "Dad, I brought you lunch. Eat." The old man looked at her with love and asked, "Did you eat, sweetheart?" Anna smiled the way people do when they lie out of love. "Yes, Daddy, I already ate." She had not eaten a thing. She worked all day. Cleaned floors other people dirtied, took care of her sick father, shared her own food while going hungry herself. And inside the store she was just the cleaning lady. Richard went home in tears. The next morning, every employee at that location got an emergency message. Mandatory meeting with the owner at 9 a.m. Panic spread through the store. Anna stood quietly in the back of the room, still holding her mop, embarrassed and confused. Then Richard walked in, but he was still wearing the same stained clothes from the day before. The shock on the cashier's face and the supervisor's face was unbearable. The blood drained right out of them. "Good morning," Richard said, his voice like thunder. Yesterday, I didn't come here to review sales numbers. I came to see how you treat people you think don't matter. The room went silent. I was the homeless man asking for a job. I was the hungry man asking for bread. And most of you treated me like garbage. You could hear the hum of the air conditioner. Then Richard turned toward Anna, who was already crying. But one person shared her food with me. One person showed me what it means to still be human. He looked straight at her. Anna, you gave part of your own lunch to a stranger. You treated me with dignity when everyone else saw me as worthless. From today on, you are the new manager of this store. The room froze. Richard kept going. Everyone else will be going through mandatory respect and service training. And if you don't want to learn how to treat people with dignity, the exit is right there. Anna's life changed overnight. Her father finally got proper medical treatment. Her children were able to attend a better school. And for the first time in years, she could sleep without fear. Richard learned something that day no boardroom could have taught him. The greatest asset in a company is not the merchandise on the shelves. It is the character of the people inside the building. Because the real test of a person is not how they treat a boss, or someone rich, or someone important. It is how they treat the janitor, the cashier, the porter, the waitress, the cleaning lady, or the man they think has nothing when they believe nobody important is watching. If this story moved you too, share it with someone who still believes character